Hi everyone! Today I figured it would be fun to walk you through the behind the scenes process of my March creative self-portrait. These self-portraits are going to be living on my blog. Be sure to check the description for links if you want to follow along. I know the idea of a self-portrait might seem kind of vain or even self-centered, but at the end of the day, it's really not even about having photos of myself. It's more of the fulfillment and joy I get out of the entire creative process that goes into the photo, if that makes sense. I find it really fun to do my makeup, put on a cute outfit, make some props. The entire process for me is just really fun, and I figured maybe this could be either helpful or even just entertaining for someone to watch. So if you're interested, grab a cup of coffee and let's get into step one. The first thing I do to prep for my self-portraits is make a mood board. Of course, I start off in Pinterest and I browse through all my images that I had previously saved, and sometimes that helps to spark an inspiration for the theme or vibe of the portrait. For today's portrait, I was really inspired by this group of faux flowers that I found. I really loved the color and how bright and vivid they were, so in this case, I actually went on Pinterest after finding the flowers and looked up some inspiration photos that kind of fit the vibe that I was going for. I really enjoy creating digital mood boards because it's super easy to work with. I can just drag and drop the images straight into my notebook from my camera roll, and also make notes on the pages, create titles, make doodles, and even create to-do lists or make note of anything I want to remember while I'm taking the photos. Here I'm using the Living Life digital planner. It's available in my shop and I will link it below if you're interested. For this portrait, I really wanted to incorporate an item of clothing that I've been reaching for a lot lately, which is my pair of Levi's denim overalls. I seriously can't stop wearing these. They're so comfortable, they go with everything, and they kind of evoke that spring cleaning energy that I've also been feeling as of lately. And thinking ahead, I had the idea of actually taking photographs of the flowers individually to later on turn them into collage cutout elements. I'm going to take photos of the flowers on a solid white background, and that's just going to make it so much easier for me to cut the image out later on. I also found these really gorgeous butterflies. They're from Amazon, but they are stunning. I love the material. They are double-sided, so they look great from all angles, and they come with the wires attached, which makes them perfect for all types of crafting. One thing I do try to keep in mind, especially when I'm taking these self-portraits, is that I like to keep my props and supplies somewhat reusable. I used the wire that came attached to the butterflies to just simply wrap them around a few bobby pins, and this way it's not a permanent fix and I can always unwrap them later on and use them for another project. So now that my outfit and props are figured out, I'm going to go ahead and start with my hair and makeup. Starting with my makeup, I'm just doing my normal go-to everyday makeup look, nothing crazy. For future self-portraits, I'll probably do something a little more elaborate, and I've definitely done more elaborate makeup looks in the past for these kinds of self-portraits, particularly around Halloween. I'm going to take the time right now to talk about a collaboration that I do every single year with a few friends, Gato and with Marie. Basically a month-long collab during the month of October where we do a ton of different makeup, hair, outfits, DIY costumes, and accessories. We post them on Instagram and on our blogs. I will leave a link below with all of our previous looks. There's so much content to browse through if this is something that kind of interests you. But for now, let's move on. So I'm pretty much just doing my go-to everyday makeup look. I'm creating a basic matte smoky eye using bronzer, and I'm using a brown eyeliner to create a soft wing and diffusing it a bit with a small angled brush. This is my favorite way of enhancing and defining my eyes without using a strong black wing liner. For my hair, I envisioned a tousled kind of wavy look. I grabbed my 3-barrel waver hot tool to create some messy textured waves. As far as equipment goes, I use a tripod with a ring light, and one of my favorite ways to add a subtle glow to photos is with a spotlight like this one. I'll be taking the photos on my iPhone, so I've propped it up on my tripod, and here I am just kind of fiddling about with the flowers, getting them to sit right in the pocket. Another thing I love to use for self-portraits is the Bluetooth wireless remote. This little clicker allows you to snap photos without having to use the timer on your phone. So now it's just pose, 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 and in the end, I get something that looks like this on my camera roll. Trust me, more is more when it comes to taking self-portraits. When it comes to posing, I like to play around with angles, creating shape using my arms and legs if they're in the photo. And for the backdrop, I kept it really neutral. I'm just using a panel of one of my curtains in my office. I thought the colors harmonized really well, and the background kind of looks like a canvas material, which for some reason pairs perfectly with a pair of denim overalls in my head at least. Once I'm done going through all the photos and selecting some of my favorites, I'll then go into the next stage, which is editing. To edit my photos, I often use Photoshop to create color masks and use the healing tool to remove some imperfections. If I'm editing on my phone, I'll use a combination of Visco, and sometimes the Teza app has really fun kind of vintage filters that add a lot of grain and dust to the photos. Another app that I love for really creative editing is called Prequel. Now jumping into creating the floral cutouts for the collage elements. To do this, I import the photo into a new canvas on Procreate. I turn off the background layer and I use an eraser brush in a smaller size to first outline the flower carefully. Then I'll use a larger eraser to get rid of the rest of the background. And this leaves me with essentially a cutout of the flower itself. Once the background of the photo is removed, export and save it as a PNG. I've also gone ahead and created a freebie download of these butterfly and floral cutouts. I went ahead and recolored them in blue and also purple, so you can download the entire bundle for free, and I'll leave the link below if you're interested in that. These would be fun to add to your planner spreads or mood boards. I know I'll definitely be using them a ton in the spring and summer. I decided to make a little creative collage with this, and that's it. That's my entire self-portrait process. Today's image was more on the simple side, and I definitely have some more elaborate ideas up my sleeve for the upcoming months. Be sure to follow on Instagram or check out my blog if you're interested in the self-portrait series. But if you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment. Thanks so much for being here today, and I'll catch you in my next video.